Hello, I am Jessie Nealand of Remodel Fitness. In my last video, we talked about how to use specific and vivid language to feel more present, assert your needs, listen to your body, create strong boundaries without being rude or pushy, and be given what you want from others. Thank you so much to everyone who commented and shared. Your responses were awesome. In 9 years of working with women as a personal trainer and empowerment coach, I have seen firsthand how difficult and frustrating it is for many women to let their lights shine. Now, as backwards as it might sound, I've found that one of the best ways to honor and shine your light is to first fall in love with your darkness. We women have often been taught that it's our job to not bother anyone, to be polite, happy, pretty, cheerful, etc. So in order to keep from burdening others with our struggles and pain, we often keep our struggles and pain to ourselves. This leads to feeling isolated, anxious, depressed, stuck, full of shame, and like we're losing our goddamn minds. We feel crazy. But those self-perceptions hold us back from ever feeling worthy of love or deserving of good things. It keeps us from asserting ourselves, from asking for what we want, from chasing our dreams, and from receiving gifts of love from people. That's why it's of vital importance that we find another way to approach our struggles and pain instead of burying deep down inside and just hoping that we don't bother anybody. One thing that I teach my clients is how to reframe those struggles and pains, what I call the dark material. Your dark material is your wounds, your fears, your trauma, your struggles, your shame, your pain, etc. And most people want to avoid or ignore or hurry through that dark material. But happiness and light lie in doing the exact opposite. The reframing that I offer them is giving them value and meaning. Instead of just having them be something that shows up to torture you, you give them an important job to do and you actually allow them to do it. Because your pain and your struggles are your greatest gifts and greatest teachers. They will show you where you need to heal and where you need to grow and what you need to change and what you need to protect. They will guide you towards the person that you want to be if you let them. The darkest and most painful parts of your experience can also be the most valuable, the most meaningful, and even the most beautiful. Instead of treating them like unwelcome house guests, I suggest we fling open the door, usher them to our couch, and then offer them a warm beverage and a hug. And by that, I just mean I suggest we learn to actually fall in love with the dark material, the dark parts of us. So how do you do that? Well, you start by acknowledging that pain is a neutral physiological message. It's not a punishment. Pain might be uncomfortable, but it's not bad. In fact, pain can even save your life, like in the case of appendicitis. Pain is just a message that shows up to alert you that something needs your attention. If your appendix is rupturing, pain is what says, you're about to be in serious trouble, get yourself to a hospital. And the same is true of emotional pain. It's not here to torture you. It's just here to alert you to something that needs your attention. Often that something is an old wound that needs healing or processing, or an area that you need to stand up for yourself or protect your values better, or an opportunity for growth and self-examination. But pain and all your dark material is just a neutral message. It's not a punishment. And once you understand and accept that, you can start exploring your dark material with curiosity instead of judgment. It is important to note here that you cannot have curiosity and judgment at the same time. They cancel each other out. Judgment is what happens when you say, ouch, this hurts and pain is bad. Because with that one judgment, there's no room to explore with curiosity. But if you say, ouch, this hurts and pain is a message, I wonder what it's here to tell me. That starts to open the doors for you to discover what gifts and lessons this dark material has for you, why it's showing up now. If you are still feeling stuck on how certain uncomfortable emotional states are bad, just think about your emotions like a biological impulse, like needing to pee. You wouldn't judge yourself for needing to pee. You would just notice and then create a safe and comfortable opportunity for yourself to act on it, like finding a bathroom, and then you would move on. And that's how your emotions should be. They need to move through you, and sometimes you're not in an appropriate place to safely experience and express them, But that doesn't make them bad. It just means that you need to create an opportunity for yourself soon to feel them and let them out. And then they'll move on. And often women judge their feelings as not making sense, being crazy or irrational. But feelings don't have to abide by logic. I'm not sure where we got this idea, but the patriarchy probably. But basically, if you feel a feeling, then it's valid. Instead of trying to talk yourself out of feeling those feelings, you just need to find a safe and comfortable environment to feel and express them. Because when feelings are allowed to move through you in a healthy way, they flow in and they flow out like the tide. They don't just get stuck there and then get bigger. They flow. So the more fully and deeply and consciously you allow yourself to feel each emotion, the sooner they're going to use up their energy and then recede back out. And there's a phrase I love that sums up this phenomenon. It's let it flow, then let it go. And that's the ideal state of healthy emotions in your body. So let's talk about how to deal with your dark material when it arises. The first step, as you can imagine, is to allow yourself to feel it, aka let it flow. Use specific and vivid language to describe it for yourself, to describe what that sensation is, the feeling that you're having, so that you can more clearly understand exactly what you're experiencing and what you want or need to do with it. Second of all, you have to remember that all messages are neutral and that even painful feelings are here to draw your attention to something. So welcome your uncomfortable message with curiosity instead of judgment, because that's the only way you'll get to explore what it's here to show you. Lastly, you'll need to get to know the specific purpose of each dark emotion, because each one has a specific message. And once you learn that message, you can quickly move through identifying the opportunity that it's presenting you for processing or growth or healing or whatever. I could spend weeks covering the topic of how to welcome and handle your emotions because it's so important. It's like learning a new language, learning the nuanced differences between each emotion and what it's here for, what its purpose is, and what its gifts are. But I'm just going to cover 4 for the purpose of brevity for this video. 4 of the darker emotions that women often ask me about. So I want you to understand for each one what it's here to accomplish, what its job is, and then how to help it accomplish that task more quickly. So first up, we're going to talk about sadness. Sadness is my favorite emotion. So sadness shows up when you need help letting go of something, or to show you that you're already letting go of something. It can be either. And the main thing with sadness is that you have to ask yourself when it's coming up and you're feeling it, you have to really let yourself feel this one, and then ask yourself what needs to be let go of, or what have I already started letting go of? Because sometimes we start letting go and we're not even aware, and then all of a sudden we just feel all this sadness, and we're like, what is going on? Where's this coming from? And so if you ask yourself, what am I already letting go of? It might be an old identity of yourself. You might be grieving a past version of you that you're finally letting go of and outgrowing. And that might not be logical, but it doesn't have to be logical. You're allowed to be sad as you let go of something, anything. It could be the silliest thing. If you lost a piece of jewelry or a random trinket or something, you're allowed to be sad as you let go of that thing. It's what sadness is for, to help you let go so that you don't just walk around dragging everything you've ever had, through the mud, and every past version of yourself and everything you never let go of is just like following you around. And that's what it would be like if we didn't have sadness. So I like to tell people to think of sadness like a bridge between the old thing and the new thing. That's why we mourn, that's why we go through mourning periods, is so that we can have a buffer between the old thing or person or whatever that we were and that we're letting go of, and then this new person who doesn't have that thing, who's free in some way to be or do or have something different. So that's sadness. Next, we have anger. And anger shows up to help you know what needs protecting or to help you restore or strengthen boundaries. So the questions to ask yourself when you're feeling angry is, first, whose boundary or self-image needs protecting here? Because sometimes we get angry on behalf of other people instead of for ourselves. And in those cases, you just need to be really clear about if that's happening and is it still your business, because sometimes we're mad on other people's behalf, and it has nothing to do with us. But sometimes it's like if we saw an injustice in the world, you might feel angry that that injustice exists, but it's their boundary that needs protecting. You still might have a right to help protect it, though. I think without anger, we would not have any social reform. So it's such a valuable tool to get mad and say, that's not okay. I am not okay with that. And once you identify whose boundary needs protecting, you then have to ask yourself, what needs to be restored or what boundary needs to be strengthened? The cool thing about anger is that it comes with a lot of energy. It's a very fiery emotion, and it really gives you a burst of energy to fuel you into action to set things right. So imagine if you were feeling very sad, you don't have a lot of energy. Sad is not an energized emotion. You mostly just want to be taken care of and, lay on the couch and that's it. Take a nap and cuddle with your cat. But when you're angry, you're like, God damn it, I have to go do something. It like puts you into action. And so with anger, be aware that its gift is the energy to set things right. And all you have to do is learn, like go inside, ask yourself what needs to be restored or what boundary needs to be strengthened. Basically, you're saying, where do I need to put this energy? What do I need to set right? And then you can use it. It's awesome. Next, we're going to talk about fear. Fear is a little tricky because in some ways, it's just your intuition. It's evolutionary. It's biology. It's just trying to keep you safe. However, sometimes, instead of trying to keep you safe, it's just trying to show you that you need to reorient yourself to something. Learning the difference is really important. So one of the first questions to ask yourself when fear shows up is, A, do I need to get to safety? And if not, then what do I need to feel safe? So sometimes we're afraid of things that aren't actually dangerous, and we just need to know, is there something here that I need to do to make myself feel safer? You can just ask yourself, what action is required? Also super simple. If you're like standing in the middle of traffic and you're feeling scared, like the action required is to get out of the traffic. It's super simple. Or what do I need to feel safe, might not quite apply in that case because you might feel safer if you've closed your eyes, but you wouldn't really be safe. So what action is required is a really concrete way of asking that. The other question, though, to ask if it's not an issue of safety, of actual safety, the other question is, what new stimulus do I need to get oriented to? This is a useful one because a lot of times we're scared just because our brains haven't experienced this new thing, whatever it is, asking someone out or skydiving or whatever. Like, it doesn't actually necessarily mean that it's dangerous, but your brain is still going to be like, what's going to happen? Like, send some fear going down your body. So if the question is, what do I need to get oriented to? What new stimulus? Then you can go, the stimulus is my feeling of vulnerability while asking this person out because I really like them. Like, that's just something you need to get used to. It's not necessarily a fear worth doing anything about, but it is something you need to wrap your head around and be like, I'm feeling vulnerable because of this thing. That makes perfect sense. Or if it's skydiving, you're like, I'm getting used to the fact that I live in a world in which we jump out of airplanes, and my biology, my evolutionary code doesn't know about that. So I just need to get oriented to that idea for a minute, or maybe more than a minute, in order to feel safer. Or you just do it. You just decide to do the thing anyway, and then you can get oriented to it after. Also kind of useful. Talking back to fear can be super effective if you decide that it's not actually serving you. I find just acknowledging that it's there without trying to get rid of it or ignore it or suppress it is really helpful. Therefore, having like a literal dialogue like, why, hello, fear. I see you've come to rescue me today. Thank you for your services. I am actually not in need of you at this particular moment. So like you're literally talking to your fear in your head usually, or you can write it down, in order just to let it know that, hey, you see it. Thank you for trying to protect me. I just don't need to be protected right now. And that's a really helpful way. Lastly, we have jealousy, which is a really cool emotion because it's actually kind of a combination of fear and desire. So it can either show up to help protect you, or like fear does, or it can show you what you're desiring that you're not getting. So when jealousy shows up, the question to ask is, first of all, what do I need to feel safe, and is action required? The exact same way you would with fear. Then ask yourself what you're really, truly desiring here in this situation. And use really specific and vivid language, because that will help you get super clear. So once you identify what it is that you are trying, or that you're not getting, that you desire, it will be the following follow-up question to that will be, how can I offer this desire to myself? And it's really important that you don't get caught up in the like sort of obsessive details of what you're actually feeling jealous about, because it's not usually that. Like if you see a woman walking down the street in a killer dress and you're like, oh man, I would love to rock that dress, I'm so jealous. It's not the dress. It's not even how she's rocking the dress necessarily. There's something else, and you have to go deeper to answer that. What am I really desiring here? The answer might be, I desire that kind of confidence, or I desire that kind of visibility. And once you know that, you say, how can I offer myself more confidence? How can I offer myself more visibility? And then you take action on it. But it wasn't about her and her dress, it was about you and what you're desiring. And so that's where jealousy is so awesome and useful. But you do have to find a way to detach a little bit from the details of the jealous story and allow it just to be a signal that you are desiring something that you're not getting. Cool. So when addressing old traumas and deep healing, you will undoubtedly cycle through, there's like layers on layers and layers of this stuff. You'll cycle through some seriously powerful and dark emotions. And sometimes you're going to need to take a break from welcoming them or falling in love with them, and that is totally okay. But learning to value them and see them as messages and opportunities for growth instead of things to be avoided is going to help you heal so much faster and so much deeper and move through the experience just in a lot better of a way. So take breaks when you need to by giving yourself permission to numb out and avoid them for a while if you want, until your energy and strength has returned. Otherwise, keep tuning into what you're feeling and describing it using specific and vivid language. Keep approaching your dark emotions with curiosity instead of judgment, remembering that each sensation is nothing more than a neutral message designed to draw your attention somewhere. And then keep exploring why that message is showing up here and now. In my next video, I'm going to be offering you a tutorial on what to do with the particular dark materials of social anxiety, wanting to be invisible while also craving visibility, feeling worthless or meaningless, feeling like you have nothing to offer, and feeling like people don't like you. I'm going to show you how to shift your mindset around social interactions in a way that will erase your fears and give you confidence and purpose in the world. I'm going to teach you how to show up with authenticity and warmth, and how to make social interactions nourishing instead of draining, and how to give your how your loving attention has the potential to elevate the people around you so that you can create a positive ripple effect in the world. So stay tuned for that. I'll be giving some specific ways to fight social anxiety, allow yourself to be seen and impact people, and bring out the gifts in both yourself and everyone around you. If you like this video, please leave a comment, and I look forward to sharing video number 3 with you.